he is.
Did it just kind
There
of
he
cut
is.
off there, like because I thought it had like a definitive ending there.
It does. It does. I don't know what happened. I have no idea what happened.
Something happened there. The
Yeah.
other one plays all the way through, and then that one just craps out.
I think
Anyway,
it's
hello.
because Adrian showed up.
That's what it is. Hello, everybody. It's Thursday night. It's Home Team Sports. It's episode 5. It's your boys, Big Al, Harry, Adrian, Chris, and we're here to talk some sports with you. And I mean, holy hell! The NFL playoffs are set. The University of Michigan is watching the confetti drop, and Bill Belichick and Pete Carroll might retire. I don't know. We'll talk about that in a minute. But in the meantime, gentlemen, what did y'all think? And we'll go around the room because I know at least most of you, if not all of you, watched it. What did you guys think of the national championship game where the University of Michigan are now the NCAA national champions? Harry?
I think it really goes to show you the difference between schools like TCU, Washington, and all that, because it's all well and good when you beat up on their respective conference and all that stuff, but when you play the big boys, you get a big whooping. I mean, that score was, he got out of hand real quick. You know, Michael Penix, who they're saying could be a first-round quarterback, top, whatever. He looked like Mitchell Trubisky throwing that football around there, and let's just say it didn't end well. But it's, you know what? It's the last step for Harbaugh leaving, because now what's keeping him there besides saying that he runs Michigan? You know, it's his next stepping stone to leave quietly before he gets the NCAA coming down there with their switch and broom, and
Didn't he try the NFL before though, and it didn't quite work out? With the 49ers.
With the 49ers, yeah.
He
took
is
to the Super Bowl.
They had the Harbaugh Bowl.
He is a coach that will give you a solid 5 years and then run out his welcome and then leave.
Okay?
I don't know if anybody will know this terminology, but he is the hockey version of the Rangers coach, who will give you great years, run out his welcome, and go somewhere else probably and do well. He has a no nonsense, not going to get along with you, but we're going to win, and you're going to be happy, and then you're going to get tired of me.
Chris, would another team against Michigan put up a bigger fight than what Washington did?
Yes, I would go with Georgia, and I think Georgia would probably dominate that game. I mean, he ran into a buzzsaw on a Michigan defense that's really good. In the conference he's in, the defenses aren't that good. I mean, he was overthrowing receivers. He was underthrowing receivers. He was under pressure a lot. But, I mean, I don't like that this is the first time in the playoff era that a team from number 1 dropped out of the top 4 with a loss.
Right.
But then literally annihilated a Florida State team, even with a backup quarterback.
Right.
Still a decent team. Georgia deserved to be in that Final Four. Even though Texas had a good showing, I believe Georgia still would have won another championship and would have been 3 in a row.
What do you think about Nick Saban retiring?
I called it, didn't I?
Yeah.
Win or lose, he was retiring.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know what I think happened? I think the fact that Alabama is a school, they don't have that booster money like Texas, like those big oil schools. They don't have NIL backing. So since NIL is so huge, I think Nick Saban saw the writing on the wall and was like, let me get out while I still look good.
Yeah.
And he left.
And you got to remember too, he didn't believe in it. He was not. He had been on record saying he wasn't going to pay his players anyway. So that it's time to move on. If the NIL was something that was coming and something that's here, and it's like every school is going to start adapting it, and he don't believe that you should be paying these kids or paying these kids for the stuff that they're doing, then side. You got to think this is kind of like a thing that's been happening. This argument for paying college players goes back like 30 years. Because look at, you got to think about the merchandise that these players sell. You got to think about the licensing stuff, because you got the EA made college football, NCAA football, and they were using these kids' name, their likenesses in these games, and they were not getting paid for. All the money went to the schools, and now you haven't seen an NCAA game in a while because people stopped giving away their rights. I'm not going to get, I'm not getting paid for it, I'm not going to give you my rights. And he's a very, very old school coach. Why should I pay you?
Free dinners, free cars, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and but age has to come into it. I mean, he's in his 70s. I mean, it's time.
You still got coaches. You still could have coached. He still could have coached.
But he's a young 72, I think. I don't think he's a typical like Pete Carroll's the same way. Like you, like, all right, you're 72, but you're like,
Pete Carroll's 7 years old, still chewing.
Well, we'll talk. We'll talk about him in a minute. Adrian, are you for or against the expansion of college playoffs?
They couldn't get this right. So what's going to make a difference? When
adding more teams, right?
Yeah. How is that going to help? How is that going to help anything?
Some teams that are snubbed, like Chris mentioned, that losing one game dropped them out of the four. Some teams that would like a team like, so if you expand it to 8, let's say, or whatever they're going to do, 12, whatever. If you expand it to 8 or whatever, then you're not going to have that excuse of those one-loss teams that should be there that aren't there. And if they're that damn good, well, then they're going to make it to the end. And like Harry said last week, maybe have the championship game traditionally in the Rose Bowl, which would be cool. Because that's the epitome of college football, the Rose Bowl. That's the epicenter, so to speak.
Exactly. And I get that. But like, to kind of point out something that Chris said, that Georgia and FSU should have been the national championship game, because both of those teams would have went to the national championship. Georgia won that game because you had 20 starters and 20 starters plus like high level backups opting out of playing that game. So they were playing third stringers. So it wasn't like it was, they murdered them. They weren't playing anybody. They were playing people who like were trying to make it on the team. That wasn't a game. I didn't even take time to watch that. I didn't, because I knew what was going to happen. They had already announced, I think it was 20 or 25 people were not going to play. Like, that's offensive starters and defensive starters. If we're getting snubbed like that and we're getting that much disrespect, even though, we lost our starting quarterback, you still stayed undefeated in tough games. Your backup still won you tough games, and they didn't make it into the playoffs. As rough as that schedule was, no. No.
Here's the downside, I think, to expanding though. Like top 5, maybe top 6. Once you get past the top 6 teams in college football,
you might have a 2-loss team in there.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking also like quality of games. Like, how many times do you watch the NFL playoffs and it's like bad? Like, you may not have a good game, but you can get some games that are extremely one-sided. Like another Georgia-Florida State. Do you want that consistently every year? Maybe multiple times a year?
I think you do. I mean, look at the NCAA basketball bracket. How many teams like Wichita State and them and the 12th, 13th ranked teams make it to the Final Four? I mean, if you get a Boise State or you get a Tulane or somebody that can get in there and be a top rank, anybody can win any Saturday.
Those are basketball.
So if you give that team a chance, It's the same thing. Boise State and Oklahoma, like I said before. You have an undefeated out of Power 5 team that comes in there, they might be able to beat that Power 5 team. And that's what people want to see. That's why
Yeah.
they're expanding. Give that team a chance, like Central Florida or UCF or UF, whatever, when they got the national championship
Yeah.
recognition for going undefeated, and they didn't even make the bowl championship.
Yep.
Right.
UCF. Yep.
So, with your logic, last year's TCU Georgia game, that should tell you that that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I get what you're saying, and you're right, but there's a reason why the big boys go to Alabama and those big schools, and why you're not going to those small schools. You know,
you get better odds.
Yeah, and you can be the best player on your team in basketball and maybe upset somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You could be Patrick Mahomes on a bad team, and if your wide receivers can't catch, can't get open, your running back is trash, your line can't protect you, you're going to end up like Zach Wilson. No, not to but you're going to know. But
Don't worry, they got Aaron Rodgers next year. The Jets are going to the Super Bowl. I saw their schedule. I saw Aaron Rodgers, that same defense. The Jets are going to the Super Bowl. I'm convinced. I'm going to put money on it.
You're going to look inexperienced, and like you may have a great, arm or whatever, but football is you'll get killed, and they're doing it for money. They're not doing it for competition. They're doing it for money. They're seeing the
What's
NFL
the max amount of teams you want to see? What's the maximum amount of teams you want to see in a college football playoff tournament?
6.
6?
I'd say 8.
8's the max, Chris?
I'd say the top 10 and the number 1 overall gets the bye and let them play out through the top 10.
Or you mean the top 2 get a bye?
Top 2 get a
If you'd have
bye.
an odd team,
The top 10 should be involved in it. Because there were some teams, even an Oklahoma team, that beat Texas earlier in the season. I mean, if they would have only lost one game and not lost to another game, they could have been in the playoff.
Right.
So it's. I like the expansion.
We are graced by the presence of the 3-time fantasy football champion, Chris doing P-Berg math. Yes, right.
Yes. We don't care.
3 times. 3 times champion.
He is. He's a 3. He 3-peated, and then he's going to leave us just like that, so that somebody else can win. That's nice of him, isn't it?
He bowed out on top. He's pulling. Well, he's not pulling.
He's pulling out. I'll tell you. No, you said it the first way. You said it right the first way. He's going out on top. Whatever. All right, so you can add the Patriots to this list, but here's some teams that have a head coaching vacancy: the Commanders, the Chargers, the Falcons, the Panthers, the Raiders, the Seahawks, which is surprising to me. I don't care what anybody says about Pete Carroll's age. It's surprising me that Seahawks are cutting that already. And Tennessee. Add the Patriots to that. You might as well. Do you see Jim Harbaugh going to any of these teams listed here, Harry?
I can see him going to maybe 3.
3 of them?
I could see him going to the Chargers, the Falcons, maybe the Raiders.
Well, he's a prick. All right. Maybe the Raiders. Go ahead. Chargers, Raiders.
I'd say if he wanted to, if I was him, I'd take the Chargers job. But
I'd go to New England. It's not on that list, but Chris?
Yeah, I see him either. He's going to one of the 2 LA teams.
Okay.
The Raiders are really making a push for him, and he seems to kind of be excited to go to LA. He wants to go to a team that has a chance of winning. You don't want to go to the Falcons or Washington or even the Panthers. I mean, they're years away from winning anything. The weird thing is that Vrabel, since Brown has been gone, has not made the playoffs, but he made it so many years when Brown was there. But they had a decent year. They had a down year. I understand, but and Pete Carroll, I think Pete Carroll's stepping down. He's not being fired.
No.
From what he
So
said, he's
yeah,
stepping
he's going
down.
to stay with the organization, but
Yes,
he's
yes,
going to let somebody call the plays. We're saying.
yeah,
He's going to
that's
be
what
the
he's planning on doing. He's stepping down, but he's still going to be in the office somewhere, and I'm
All
sure
right.
he'll be involved in the game at some point.
What about Anthony says he's moving upstairs. All right.
yeah, because he fought to try to stay the head coach.
Who are some? All right. So who are some of the candidates for some of these jobs? Some of these guys that are floating around out there.
Honestly, you got there's a lot of good coordinators. Eric Bieniemy, he's out there. You got Dan Quinn, he's a hot topic. Dan Quinn's supposed to be interviewing for the Seahawks head coaching position, which
I think
I heard the Eagles offensive coordinators interviewing with Carolina.
Yeah.
Johnson.
Hell of an offense.
Hiring that really surprised.
Please take him. Take him. Please.
Is the Tennessee Titans. I don't think they should have got rid of Vrabel. In my honest opinion.
I like Vrabel. Maybe Vrabel's a coordinator, not a head coach.
He turned that team around. That team was a joke, and then he brought them in, and he made all the right decisions to make sure that they were like at least competing. They just couldn't do anything in the front office. I think the dumbest thing, he was really upset about the AJ Brown trade. He didn't want that trade.
I would take him. Yes, I would take. You just mentioned. I would take I would have the Eagles take him as their OC, and he'd be working with AJ Brown again. There you go.
Right.
I see him going to the Patriots, and then the Patriots making a deal with the Bears and getting Caleb Williams #1 overall.
Oh, here we go.
Who are they gonna? What? They don't have anything to trade. They don't have anything to trade. They got nothing. They traded #1 for Justin Fields, maybe, and then you got Justin Fields on the Patriots, and then what you gonna?
Our ball to the Eagles. You hear it here first. So you're saying Sirianni's getting fired? That's what you're saying. That's the rumor of, especially if they lose in the first round, which they should. But I mean, they might save the guy's job and win against the Buccaneers, and then. But we'll talk about that later.
That would make no sense to fire Sirianni. He's what? This is his third year, right?
Did it make sense to fire Doug Peterson the year after he won the Super Bowl?
Oh, it is the Eagles. Never mind.
Yeah, so this is the Eagles. This is what I'm used to. Will they fire Sirianni? Sure, it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me. I like the guy. I do. I like the guy, but he seems more like a cheerleader to me. He handed the play calling over to somebody who knows what they're doing. Last year they went to the Super Bowl. Shane Steichen, I'm talking about. Now this year it was in the hands of Johnson, and he sucks. We all saw that. So please, Carolina or Washington or one of these stupid teams are dumb enough to hire this guy. Please do it. I want a complete revamping of the coaching staff. You have all this young talent. You have Jalen Hurts. You have Devontae Smith. You have AJ Brown. The offensive line is all coming back. They need defensive help, so they need to draft defense. That's what they should do. Draft defense. Other than that, you need coaching. And Sirianni has somehow lost the locker room. I don't know what happened from last year to this year. I really don't. I thought they respected him. Apparently not. There's trouble in paradise.
Growing trend with a lot of coaches too in Philadelphia. They lose the locker room really fast. Peterson didn't get the support from the front office.
AJ said it doesn't matter. He's going to get bounced, even if they somehow beat the Buccaneers. They're going to get. Sirianni's gone.
Silly.
Okay, we'll see. All right. So interesting that these coaching vacancies, and I'm sure a few more might open up. A lot of names out there, of course. The big question on my mind, guys, is like, you think guys, the older guys like Belichick, like Pete Carroll, we already talked about him. Are they nearing, if not already, thinking about retirement?
I think they're both done.
I think if Pete Carroll gets an offer, he'll leave. A good offer, I should say.
So, same with Belichick.
Yeah, I think what Belichick needs is a team that can win and has a quarterback.
So the Chargers.
The Chargers, yeah,
Right.
would be a great place. I mean, I hate to say it, but someplace like Dallas,
Oh God.
if Jerry Jones would let it, but something like that to where he
Have
can.
we finally answered the question? Who was it, Belichick or Brady?
No,
It was Brady. It was Brady. I will stand. It was Brady. It was all Brady.
Yeah, because he goes to Tampa Bay and he won. He won the Super Bowl without him. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
know.
he wanted to leave. I think they wanted to go in a different direction, and it was more like you will part ways mutually, like they always do, and we'll give you this advisor role, and if you want something, take it. I think they want to go in a different direction.
Going home. Belichick is going home.
No, he's going to the Giants.
Oh,
Oh,
that's the stupidest argument in the world. What are you talking about, Harry? What are you talking about? Al, would you take John Gruden? No, I think John Gruden is personas non gratis in the entire NFL from the rest of his days, unfortunately. Because, and I say unfortunately because he's not the best person in the world, but he's one hell of a coach and he's got one hell of a football mind, and he really threw that out the window with everything he's done. So it's sad because the Raiders went and they signed him to this big long contract, if you guys remember, and I was excited to see I wasn't excited to see not could he take the Raiders to the Super Bowl, but how many times was he going to do that in that 10 years? That's how much faith I had in him as a coach. And then everything, all the personal shit happened and he's out of the league. So if I were any team, and I'm not just talking about the Eagles here, Jason, if I was any team in the NFL, I would definitely not take any chances with the bad PR that comes with John Gruden. Unfortunately, that's the case. It's the way the NFL feels as a whole. Not just there might be some owners out there that went willing to give him a shot secretly and tuck him up in the booth somewhere as an offensive coordinator. Sure, but
Would you take him
I
as an
don't.
advisor?
I think the NFL will let it happen. I really don't.
Would you take him as somebody to help you scout, draft, all that? As like maybe not a coordinator, but
Belichick, Giants defensive coordinator, he's saying.
Belichick does have good.
Yeah, if Gruden was winning, he wouldn't have been bounced like that. Yeah, he wasn't winning yet, but he was getting there. He got bounced for the right reasons. So, sometimes you need to give a coach some chance to build up. And the Raiders were trash, absolute trash for years. And he was going to come in there. He was going to be the GM. It was going to be like a Belichick situation where he gets to pick his draft picks, right? And I said when he got hired, I was like, give the guy 3 years. Raiders will be in the playoff, not only in the playoffs, but contending in the playoffs. And he didn't even get that chance. He didn't even get that far. So, I mean, that's how I felt about it. Any word on Hurts and Smith? Yes. Jalen's going to play. Devontae is a game time decision.
So that's a maybe.
So let's talk about that. The NFL WildCard weekend, guys. So in the AFC, we have the Baltimore Ravens have the bye, and then you have the Pittsburgh Steelers versus Buffalo. We'll go around the room. I'm not going in any particular order because I don't have them in front of me, but I do know the games. So Buffalo. So we have Pittsburgh visiting Buffalo. I heard that the forecast is snow. Should be interesting. Harry, who do you got in that game? Pittsburgh and Buffalo.
Oh, Buffalo by 2 touchdowns. No TJ Watt. Yeah, that's it.
No TJ Watt. That's another one too. No TJ Watt. Did they move it to Cleveland? Did they really? Is Buffalo that bad? Were they under 6 feet of snow? I mean, seriously, if that's the truth, I mean, in a neutral field, you might have a little bit more of a chance, but I still like Buffalo. I'm with Harry. Chris?
Yeah, I like Buffalo. I mean, they got no TJ Watt. I mean, Pittsburgh has got their running game going lately, but I just a running quarterback like Josh Allen. They haven't seen it all year. I mean,
Yeah.
they've seen Lamar Jackson, but they haven't seen the power that Josh Allen has. They've seen speed, but not power like Josh Allen. So I
Dumbest thing in the
think
world to move it to a neutral field. Adrian, who do you got?
Buffalo.
Pittsburgh, Buffalo. So
Buffalo.
we all got Buffalo in that game. All right.
Buffalo.
So moving on to the next game in the AFC side, because you got 6 games this weekend. You got I believe you have 2 on Saturday, you have 3 on Sunday, and then you have a Monday night game.
Mhm.
So the other one is the Cleveland Browns heading to why did it just jump out of the Houston Texans, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. And the story there is like this is the team that, this is Deshaun Watson's old team, the Texans, and then he went to they got rid of him for all his personal problems, and then Cleveland went and picked him up after all that, and then he got hurt anyway. So now Joe Flacco and the boys are coming in to Houston to spoil the party. Houston wins the division because they won their game, and Jacksonville lost their game,
Right.
which also allowed Buffalo and Pittsburgh into the playoffs, by the way, inadvertently. Cleveland at the Texans. CJ Stroud, what a story. Harry?
So my first question is: are they going to close every massage parlor in Houston before Deshaun Watson gets there? Because that's not going to go well. He wasn't playing when he was getting all those massages, so it does not matter.
They got his picture on all the tandem bedrooms and everything else. Like it's like the most wanted. Don't let in.
Right.
It's
yeah,
like
they don't let him in the door.
It's like at the register when you buy groceries.
Exactly.
I love the CJ Stroud story, dude. Like, did you see CJ Stroud's stats compared to Montana and Brady, like their first years?
Right.
It's crazy. Ben Roethlisberger, etc. Blah blah blah. CJ Stroud is a great story, a great pickup by Houston.
That Cleveland defense is gonna
Cause
win
him problems.
Yeah, I mean, good for them that they're there. Bright future, of course. But yeah, that Cleveland defense, first playoff game. But if anybody can do it, CJ Stroud. So we'll see.
Do you have the Browns?
Oh, I have the Browns. Yeah, Browns by 3. I'll say.
Chris?
you know who I'm rolling with? Joey Flacco.
I knew it.
Guy's got more playoff
I
experience.
knew
I
it.
understand that Stroud had a great year, but this is his first time in the playoffs. And it usually doesn't pan out well for first timers coming in to their first game in the playoffs.
Yep.
And you're going against if not first or second, best defense in the league.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to put some pressure on him. They're going to rattle him a little bit. I see a few turnovers. I mean, Flacco might turn the ball over here and there, but I think they'll squeak out the win.
I am taking Joe Sam Elliott Flacco for the win as well.
Like the actor. Gotcha.
As great a story as Cleveland was this year, they were a happy surprise, right? Like the record that they got was a happy surprise. If they didn't have Baltimore in their way, they might have taken that division. And the defense is vicious. You guys are right. But I don't trust Joe Flacco. Not this Joe Flacco. The guy throws interceptions. And if they turn the ball over more than Houston turns the ball over, I'm with Anthony. Anthony picked the Houston Texans. I'm going to take the Texans in this game. Do I want that to happen? No, because like you guys said, it's a young team. They have a great future ahead of them. Cleveland's the better story here with everything they got going. But the thing is that what I want and what are going to happen this weekend are two different things. So I would love to see Cleveland. You always like to see those teams that haven't won a Super Bowl, like Detroit. Like my ideal Super Bowl this year is Cleveland and Detroit. I know it's not going to happen because that way you definitely get two teams. One of those two teams have never won a Super Bowl, so there you go. But
you know what? Do you guys notice one thing though? Did you notice that last year before, Houston was exactly what the Carolina Panthers are right now? How dysfunctional they look. The owners in the news for the wrong reasons.
Right.
It's crazy how you can go from being that to people forget. No one's talking about how bad it was with Deshaun Watson.
Right.
You know, Tepper's over here throwing drinks at people because that's what billionaires do. But
Yeah.
My answer to this, Jason, is I think that if you look at the other matchups involved, they each have a bit of a story, right? Cleveland versus Houston, it's the Deshaun Watson Bowl, sort of, right? And then you got Pittsburgh versus Buffalo. That's an old school playoff rivalry there from years ago. You got that going on there. Then you got Kansas City. Hosting Miami, the Tyreek Hill Bowl, right? That's an underlying story there. In the NFC, you have so the Eagles are playing the Buccaneers. There's really no story there, right? You have the Cowboys playing the Packers, who Mike McCarthy is the coach of the Cowboys. Used to coach the Packers, so it's kind of the Mike McCarthy Bowl there, right? Got a thing going on there. Plus Cowboys Packers, that's another old school playoff rivalry from back in the day. And then San Fran's got the bye, right? Then you got the Rams versus Detroit, and that game is those guys switched quarterbacks. Remember that? Matt Stafford used to play for Detroit, and Jared Goff used to play for the Rams, and they switched quarterbacks, and now they're playing each other. So the winner of that game is going to say, "Ha, you made the wrong choice." So the Eagles game really doesn't have any intrigue other than the fact that Eagles fans are going to watch it. That's why they stuck that thing on Monday night, because who the hell gives a shit? I'm kind of glad because I'll only watch it for the first quarter anyway, and I'll go to sleep. Whether they win or lose, I could really care less. I actually want them to lose to help the schedule next year, but I have it in my head that they're somehow going to pull this out of their ass. Adrian, did you pick Cleveland and Houston?
Did I pick Cleveland and Houston? Yeah. I said Sam Elliott's going to win and drink some Kool-Aid.
That's right. So you said the Browns. So I'm the only guy taking the Texans. So we did Steelers and Bills. We did Texans and Cleveland. And then the other AFC game is Kansas City and the Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
And the forecast in that one I heard is about 0 degrees at Arrowhead. Miami doesn't do well in the cold weather. The Tyreek Hill Bowl. Is it the Tyreek Hill revenge game or what, Harry? What do you think?
I'm going to say Kansas City only because of the weather. That's the only reason why I'm going to say it. Because Kansas City's, they're not right. You can look at me like, oh, you want, it's fine. You really trust the wide receivers of Kansas City?
No.
Travis Kelce, who's lost a step.
He's getting old. He had the talent sucked out of him by a singer.
He's shaking it off, but it's not coming off.
No.
Shake that coming off.
It's karma.
No, it is karma. And it's the girl with the flat ass that's doing it to him. See, if he had a girl with it, see, that's the problem.
He doesn't like her for her ass, man. She sings lullabies. She sings lullabies. She lullabies him to sleep. He's a big, soft teddy bear.
Me and you have bigger titties than she does. You need something. Like
she's got more money than God, so it doesn't really matter.
She got
totally.
Teeth are huge.
Miami is 2-14, and temperatures under 40 degrees, and game time temps are going to be 0. That's not the real feel. That's the actual temp. It's going to feel like it's going to feel like 10 below.
When's the last time the Miami Dolphins had a running game like this? They're going to pound the ball.
Is Mostert healthy? I thought Mostert was kind of banged up. Isn't he banged up?
He's going to play.
He's going to play, but he's not going to be 100.
Well, you got 2 running backs there. All they need to do is pound the ball down their throat. Kansas City's deep run defense is really not that good. You run till they can stop it. Run till they can stop it.
I'm believing what he's saying. I'm proud of him. I am so proud of him that he's saying that. Like,
are you picking the Dolphins?
Yes, I am picking the Dolphins. Who's gonna catch the ball for Patrick? Patrick Mahomes is gonna have an aneurysm when this game's over with because everybody's gonna be dropping balls. Who you look? Kadarius Toney gonna catch a touchdown?
No, he's gonna be offsides. So
yeah, exactly.
He might.
Exactly. And then drop the ball. Oh wow! Everybody on it. They have got the most drops in the NFL. at every position. Even Pacheco.
2-14. Did you see that? 2-14.
Yeah, I mean, and that's nice. And that's what's going to be the score. It's going to be 2-14 before half.
But you know what, though? Miami's not good against teams that actually know how to play football either.
All right. Well,
they ain't got to worry about an offense.
If I'm picking coaches, if I'm picking coaches, I'm picking Andy Reid over the Dolphins coach. If I'm picking quarterbacks, give me Patrick Mahomes over Tua. I'm just telling you. All right. If I'm picking experience, the Dolphins, great story this year, right? Lighten it up, beating good teams. You know, they had a semi-easy schedule, but I mean, they did take it to some good teams. They did run into some speed bumps along the way.
Yeah, they did.
They got their asses handed to them a couple of weeks ago, if I recall.
Mm-hmm.
I am on the fence with the Dolphins. I don't think they're the world beaters people think they are. I think Kansas City being home, being in that cold weather, playoff, all those guys are experienced. One last, are they going to go to the Super Bowl? Probably not. But are the Dolphins? Probably not. So the winner of this game doesn't really matter if I'm right. So I take Kansas City, but I think it's going to be really close.
I'm sticking with the Dolphins for the simple fact can't nobody catch the ball in Kansas City. Mahomes is running for his life on every play.
It could come down to whoever turns the ball over the less.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, there's going to be turnovers in this game.
I get the kid looks like he does taxes on the weekend for fun.
Listen, you leave Dungeons and Dragons alone. He's just fine.
Hey, I'm a D&D. I'm a dungeon master, by the way. If y'all don't know that,
I stand by my comment. You leave.
So they're taking the Dolphins. You are, right, Harry? Are you taking the Dolphins?
I'm taking Kansas City because of the weather.
You're taking Kansas City. Okay. So Chiefs, Dolphins. There you go. So that's the AFC games. Let's go to the NFC.
He's gonna hate.
And let's get the Monday night game out of the way, please.
Don't.
Philadelphia at Tampa.
Don't you dare, sir. Don't
Harry,
you dare.
we have to talk about that game. It's one of the games. So Philadelphia at Tampa.
I'm taking Philly.
Why?
Well, they have a better team.
If they're healthy. They're not healthy.
I get it. The last
they got unhealthy at the wrong time.
Last week was ugly. Last week was real ugly because Tyrod Taylor should not put up 300 yards. Neither should Sam Howell. Almost.
Quarterbacks have done that all year. If you look at the entire season, they gave up 300-yard games every game. Just about every game.
They have. But the thing with Baker Mayfield that you do to mess Baker Mayfield up is you pressure him. He is not good under pressure. And what's going to happen is believe it or not, and people seem to forget this, that defensive line of Philadelphia are a hungry pack of wolves. They're going to get after him, which is what's going to throw him off.
They had 70
offensive line.
I'll stop you right there. They had 70 sacks last year. This year they had 40.
Still high quarterback pressure though.
They have no secondary. Slay's not playing.
Oh,
people are shredding. No, Slay's not playing. They are being shredded in the secondary with all these. I mean, you got Bradbury, and then you got 6 other guys who can't cover shit. You know what I'm saying? Blankenship's a good tackler, but he's not that guy that's going to pick it off for you. He's not that guy that's going to make the big play down the field. The Eagles' defense is crap. The reason why is what they do is they play that soft cover 2. So they'll give you the 5-10-yard plays.
Right.
But then they'll button it up, and what they're hoping that they do is they button it up in the red zone and they force you to kick field goals while their offense scores. Now, the problem is if they don't stop you and you end up getting ahead by 14 or whatever, they can't come back because their offense is not clicking the way it was, and their offensive coordinator sucks, and the play calling sucks. Jalen Hurts is playing hurt. He's been hurt for 6 weeks. A.J. Brown is I don't even know if he's going to play. I'm not sure. Dallas Goedert's been a non-factor. They haven't been running the ball the way they should be when they have a three-headed monster at running back.
Well, Goddard's been hurt.
DeAndre Swift had the flu last week, so he didn't play. So now he's going to play this week. But, I hate to say this. I really, really hate to say this, but I think the Eagles are going to win. I wish they wouldn't, because I don't want to get eliminated by the Cowboys. I don't want to get eliminated by the 49ers. Just put us out of our misery now. But I just have this feeling that because I don't want them to win, that's the kind of bullshit that they'll pull on me and they'll win.
Mm-hmm.
Alan, Amy, you sound like a Jets fan. Yeah, well, my wife's a Jet. I'm at least half a Jets fan because my wife roots for the Jets. So, Harry, is it bathroom break time?
No, not yet.
No.
But
okay, Harry. So, Harry, you got the Bucks, right? Adrian and I have the Eagles. Chris,
I do have the Buccaneers. Yes.
Chris,
I got the Eagles. If you watched Baker Mayfield last week and the way he played, and they scored
9 against Carolina.
9 points, and Baker Mayfield was under pressure all game. If the Eagles can find some way to put him under pressure, it's going to be a long day for them Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah,
I'm going
and
with the
you're
Eagles.
right.
Earlier.
We'll see. All right. Anyway, so then we have the Green Bay Packers going to Jerry World and playing the Dallas Cowboys in the Mike McCarthy Bowl. I'm calling it the Mike McCarthy Bowl. What'd you say, Harry?
I think it's bathroom break time.
Oh, okay.
Who's going to spew his nonsense? I don't want to listen to his nonsense.
You're not going to pick. You're not going to pick the Cowboys.
I mean, I am, but I know where
I'm picking the Cowboys. I'm picking the Cowboys.
So 1, 2. What about you,
Chris? You get picking the Cowboys?
Yeah, I don't even think it's going to be a close game.
Packers by
I think
7.
Jordan Love. I don't think he's ready for the playoffs yet. I think Dallas is going to at least win by 15.
Give us the nonsense. Come on, let's go.
Okay. In the regular season, the Dallas Cowboys have a very good record against the Green Bay Packers, right? They got a decent record. I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What is their record against the Packers in the playoffs? Can anybody know?
Isn't it like 7-2 or 2-7, something like that? Yeah. I know there's a 7 involved.
It's 2-7.
2-7.
It's 2-7.
Gotcha.
So right. If we take Aaron Rodgers and we take Brett Favre out of that, what's their record?
It's still
okay. Well, so now you're shitting on Jordan Love.
He's not that good.
Jordan Love is not good under pressure. Okay, so you look at the games that the Packers have won, right?
That remains to be seen.
You look at the games the Packers have won, right? They played well against pretty good defenses, right?
Yeah.
Aaron Jones was playing, right? Was this Aaron Jones, the running back? Packers? Yeah. Okay. So Aaron Jones, not like a guy who torched the Cowboys for Buffalo,
right?
They are very, very similar backs. You get Dallas Reeman on that play action, and then they got a pretty fast receiver on the outside that Jordan Love can just lob the ball off to. So
sure.
Gilmore's not playing. Stephon Gilmore is not playing.
Right.
I'm taking the Packers.
My God.
Let me ask you this, Adrian.
Right.
When you have
He's getting there. I'm with you, Anthony.
When you have Josh Allen and then you have Jordan Love.
Yes.
Who are you more afraid of?
Josh Allen.
Okay. So you would be more worried about Josh Allen than James Cook.
No. They had to you gotta look the way that game was played, right? They look at the passing compared to the running. They had the passing game pretty shut down. They were very good against the pass. What was killing them was because Buffalo couldn't pass the ball that well to begin with. They started running the ball, and when they were running the ball, they were very successful. So,
yeah,
smart thing to do.
But I'm not worried about Jordan Love passing the ball.
I'm worried.
And Christian Watson is going to be covered by, and I hope he gets covered by a very good corner. They don't have the weapons Buffalo has that would scare you.
They have speed in key places.
But Jordan Love is the key factor to me. I don't think Jordan Love is going to take you where.
I don't know what happened there.
So that would be the difference. Not to mention the secondary for the Packers isn't as good as the secondary for Buffalo.
Right. They got Jair Alexander. He's good.
He's gonna be at the coin toss talking. He's gonna take defense, and then we're gonna get the ball 3 times in a row.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, basically.
It'll be fine. But that's okay because we'll just come here Thursday and tell you that you're wrong. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay.
Okay. You know what? If I'm wrong, I will be quite surprised.
Okay, if this game was in Green Bay, I might be on the fence. But the Cowboys are 8-0 at home. They're 8-0 at home. This game's in Jerry World.
The fact that even if the game changed location, the simple fact that you would be on the fence, it's the same.
Yes,
right, says a lot.
Says to me that the game's going to be closer than Cowboys fans want it to be, but I think the Cowboys still pull it out.
Yeah.
It's going to be closer than Cowboys fans want it to be, but Dallas will pull it out at home, and then we'll see what happens after that.
They win in Green Bay. You think
they are the second? They are the second seed. So if they keep winning, they don't have to worry about playing anywhere else except for San Fran. If that's who they end up playing in the NFC Championship game.
Well, I'll just say this: if we lose, we're going to hire someone else as our head coach because there's no way in hell.
You think he gets fired? You think he gets fired? You think it's his fault?
No, because I don't think we lose because of the team. I think he would mess it up somehow.
Yeah.
What about Dak? What about the theory that Dak chokes in the playoffs?
But he's playing better. Can he? Yeah. But Mike McCarthy needs to, I think, NFC Championship game or he's fired.
I think
he has to get there, at least get there.
Or he's fired.
Super Bowl.
Okay.
Because think of every
Adrian, you're saying Super Bowl. You're saying he has to get to the Super Bowl or he's fired.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, think about it like this. Look at the coaches that are out there. I mean, would you rather have Pete Carroll or McCarthy? Would you rather have Belichick or McCarthy? Would you rather have Brady or McCarthy? There's coaches out there that can really take you to the next. I mean, Harbaugh, my God. You know what?
All right. So, the fact that there's these coaches floating around here makes me sort of kind of believe your theory, but I don't know if he has to get to the Super Bowl, Adrian. I'll go as far as the championship game because the 49ers, listen, it's the 49ers conference to lose, in my opinion. If it's their conference to lose. So you have to, everything goes through San Fran. So then we have one more NFC game to talk about, and that is what I like to refer to as the Stafford Golf Bowl. Rams, Detroit Lions in Detroit. Chris, who's winning this game and why?
Oh man, this is gonna be a tough game.
I think that's gonna be the closest game of the.
I like the Rams. I know that Goff really needs to win this game and wants a playoff win for the first time in how many years for that?
Against the team that got rid of him.
The way the Rams are playing, they won 7 out of the last 8 games. They're playing good running game.
On a roll.
Super Cup and that rookie receiver there. It's going to be too much. Unless Hutchinson has an unbelievable game and puts tons of pressure on Stafford, I got the Rams.
Okay. So wait, you're saying if. So you're saying you got the Rams?
I got the Rams.
Adrian?
I'm taking the Lions. They're at home.
Jason said Lions are choke. Dak is Romo.
No.
Lions are going to choke. Let's go Rams. Rams win. Detroit goes for 2 and doesn't get it.
That almost. Oh God. Yeah. Which they should have. I'm saying.
Campbell, baby. Dan Campbell.
They have a more complete team. they have a more complete team. The Lions have a well put together team.
Yep.
I think they take this one. It's going to be a battle, yeah, hopefully.
Tight.
Or it's going to be a blowout.
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a blowout. It's going to be tight. Might be a shootout.
Possibly.
This might be like 28-24, something like that.
All right.
Harry?
So here's the difference. If Detroit had Sam Laporta, I would take Detroit. Since there's
He's
no
not
Sam
playing?
Laporta,
No,
he's
hurt.
Yep. You got
all
hurt
you
last
have
game.
is St. Brown on the outside. Jameson Williams is not living up to anything that they thought he would have.
What a season Laporta had, though.
And you got Stafford with Puka, with Cup. And as old as Aaron Donald is getting, you still have Aaron Donald.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the Rams are going to take it out. I think they're going to win by 3, and Dan Campbell's going to go for three times and miss every time, and then have a very angry post press conference.
Oh, man.
Way too much caffeine in this system. Way too much caffeine.
Right.
That
All
dude
right.
is Red Bull and cocaine 24/7.
I don't know why, but for some reason, I really have a strong feeling that the Lions are winning this game. I don't know why.
Because you listen to me.
But if they do, no, because everybody else is picking the Rams, except you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a smart person.
If they do, right, and if our predictions come true, so let's just say that Dallas wins, let's just say that the Lions win, and let's just say that the Eagles win. That would mean if those teams all win, those are all the home teams, well, except for the Eagles. And the Eagles would have to go to San Francisco in the divisional round, and we would get Lions versus Cowboys. And you guys remember that game from a couple of weeks ago, don't you? Do or not?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, greatest game ever.
Do I want that game? Yes, I do. Please. I would like that game, yes, because that sucker might go a little differently for you guys this time.
No, it won't.
But we'll see.
We'll see if the refs fix it. So the NFL made a mistake, so they'll fix the game to make them play each other again. You never know.
You're right.
Exactly.
You're right. If anybody, talking about the NFL is rigged, man, look at all these stories, man. It couldn't have gone better. You have Matthew Stafford versus Jared Goff. You have the Tyreek Hill Bowl. You have the Mike McCarthy Bowl. Come on, man.
Let's
Like,
go Super Bowl. I will be
come on. These matchups lined up perfectly. And then you have the odd man out. You have the Eagles and the Buccaneers, which there's no story there except for, they played each other in the NFC Championship about 20 years ago, whatever. Who cares?
Well, you got 2 former Oklahoma quarterbacks playing each other.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mayfield and Hurts.
I want Rams and 49ers and Eagles and Cowboys. Well, you might just get that. If the Rams, if the Rams upset, if the Rams beat the Lions, and yes, you would get the Rams and the 49ers, divisional game, anything could happen there. I'll tell you what, I don't know if you want that, Jason, because if that happens, if it's Rams and 49ers, I think, what if the Rams upset the 49ers, Cowboys beat the Eagles in the divisional round, then Cowboys host the NFC Championship game against the Rams?
That would be the biggest thing to lose on. McCartney gets fired before halftime. That would be funny. He'd be like,
it's going to be interesting, guys, but that's Wild Card Weekend, and it's going to be an interesting Wild Card Weekend. A lot of matchups that could potentially happen in the second round, and Baltimore, based on our picks, we were talking about the AFC ones earlier. Potentially, Cleveland could be that team that ends up playing Baltimore, and they know those guys pretty well.
That would be that. Okay, so we talking about being scripted. They bring Jerry Jones finally in the Ring of Honor. Dallas goes to the Super Bowl. That's weird, right? It's kind of strange.
It could happen.
Off the couch and beats his former team to go to the Super Bowl with a different team.
Baltimore Ravens.
I would be screaming shenanigans.
If it's Cleveland versus Dallas, this is the most fixed season I've ever seen in my entire life.
I'm like, wait, what? It makes no sense.
It's ridiculous.
I'm just saying that would just be weird to me.
It would be weird. But if it's 49ers if it's the 49ers and the Ravens, which is the favorite because they're the 1 seeds, then the whole theory about the color of the logo, it was purple and gold, and then they changed it to blue and some other blue. Or blue and orange. So now it's Cowboys and Browns, right? At the beginning of the season, the Super Bowl logo was the colors of the Ravens and the 49ers, and like, everybody figured us out. So then they changed it quickly to blue and some other color. I don't know if it was blue and orange or blue and
kind of weird.
2 different shades of blue. It was the Bills and the Cowboys. There you go.
Yeah.
Bills
I mean, I'm really excited about that Kansas City game. I love when they play in negative degree weather. I mean, just something about me. I was never a Packer fan, but I love when you had to play in Lambeau in the playoffs in negative degree weather. That was always a great game to watch.
Yeah, Jason, Steelers could play the Ravens if they beat Buffalo. That's right. They'd be the lowest seed, but
that ain't happening.
That's not happening. No. We're not gonna predict. We predicted the wild card round. We're not gonna keep going and predict the divisional round. We will wait and see who's in the divisional round, and then next Thursday we'll pick that, and then we'll wait to see who makes it to the championship games, and then we'll pick those. We're not gonna go all the way to the Super Bowl and say it's gonna be, Cowboys and Bills or whatever. So
Harry, if
good
I'm right,
luck.
you crown me
Good luck to you, Cowboys fans. All right. Good luck to you, Buccaneers fans.
Good luck
out
to you,
there.
Eagles, man.
No.
Harry, if
Good.
I'm right, will you crown me king? Will you say I'm the king? Will you just say it? Say if I'm right, just be like,
since you're not a king and you're not right, then no, I will not.
I will bow down. I will bow down if you are correct, sir. I will genuflect or curtsy or whatever you want me to do.
I will just need to know that I am king. Just tell me
If the Cowboys win, will you wear a Cowboys jersey next week?
No, because I picked the Cowboys to win. If I was picking against them, then yeah, I would. But I'm not.
I'm asking Chongo. No. Would you wear a Cowboys jersey next week?
Yeah, if the Cowboys win, I will wear a Cowboys jersey. How about
we don't want you to. We don't want you to. We are going to put you at the kids' table where you belong.
What?
All right. Yes.
I've been right, sir. I've been right.
Kids' table.
Except
you have been right.
Every game but the Lions game.
I called that game down.
But he called that like to the play, man. He said they're gonna go down, they're gonna score, they're gonna go for 2. Because that's what Campbell does, right? And
they got it, and then the refs overturned it.
So there's 2 games, guys. There's 2 games on Saturday, one at 4:30, one at 8 o'clock. There's 3 games on Sunday, and then there is the Monday night game. So you got 6 NFL playoff games this weekend. Enjoy them. If you like our show, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Come talk sports with us every Thursday night. Home Team Sports 2.0, episode 5 is in the books. You guys have anything else to talk about before I go off?
Just make sure to crown me king. That's just all I asked for.
Let's go.
I wore an Eagles shirt and treated it right. When did you do that? Did he do that? He did. Yes, fantasy champ out. Congratulations, Anthony. Way to go.
He did do that.
I finished dead last in that league, by the way.
I was right behind you.
I didn't even beat Cousin Phil. Cousin Phil got 7.
Oh man.
You want to hear something funny? I won my league with Joe Flacco as my quarterback.
What?
And I love it.
Burrow got hurt.
That's awesome.
I picked up Flacco, and Flacco led me by championship.
That's your
Yeah. I had Kyron Williams and Montgomery that helped, and my kicker, not our kicker, my kicker won me too.
He was something this year too. Rookie of the year.
Aubrey's amazing.
You guys finally got a kicker. That's one thing the Cowboys haven't had in years, man. A good kick, like a clutch kicker. That guy's he didn't miss a field goal all year, right? All regular
last game, he got one blocked and then missed another one.
Yeah. and then he kicked.
Well, did that game really count? It didn't matter.
Yeah, he's still like 90-something%.
Yeah, it didn't matter. They would have won the NFC East anyway had they even lost that game because the Eagles lost to the Giants, so it didn't really matter. It mattered not.
I think he's like 100% from 50 yards or better.
Yeah. He was like a soccer player, I think, right?
I mean, good kickers are hard to come by, man. Like you can name Tucker and you can name Elliott and you can name a couple other kickers in the league, but Aubrey's got a future, man. He's a very good kicker. Or a holder, Romo. He's got to get one last dig in there, don't he?
Yeah. Well, at least somebody gonna be crying, and I'm gonna make a nice little video package for the boys.
3-time champ.
Nice little video package. Be like
3-time champ.
You are cordially invited to the anointing.
We'll see all you guys next Thursday, 7:00.